Nowadays, talking about witches might get you laughed at. It's not exactly a topic you can casually bring up with just anyone. Movies, television, and literature have sold us the image of the European or American witch. Reading about those versions, or watching films about them, can be fascinating, but not nearly as gripping as the stories happening right here in our own country. Urbanization and other factors have drastically reduced this kind of thing in big cities. Or maybe these beings have simply adapted to modern times. The following experience was sent in by Gerardo Magadán, and it goes like this. I'm 37 years old. I've been living in Cuautitlán, Izcalli for 15 years. This all started about 7 years ago, maybe more. I'm not entirely sure. Ever since I was a kid, I've believed in the supernatural. I've experienced many strange things, but never anything like what I'm about to tell you. Some years back, I opened a small shop in Santa Rosa de Lima. I'll leave out certain details to stay anonymous. Santa Rosa de Lima is a small town right here in Cuautitlán, Izcalli. For the first 3 years, everything was normal. Business was good. I'd open at 9 in the morning and close at 7 at night. One Tuesday around noon, a gray-haired woman came in to look at the merchandise. She asked about the price of an item, and I told her. We started chatting, and after a while, she told me that if I wanted, she could teach me certain things she knew I was ready for. That caught my attention. I asked her what kind of things. She replied, I can teach you how to drain people. Whatever you want to take from them, I'll show you how. At first, I thought she was drunk, just some poorly dressed old woman in ragged clothes. Maybe lonely. Maybe looking for company after Mass. I thanked her politely and showed her out. I noticed she passed by often, never looking at the store. She'd just go to Mass at the parish and leave like any other elderly woman. One afternoon, another woman came into my shop and asked if I knew how to get rid of a witch. I thought she was exaggerating. How could a witch be attacking her? I told her no, that I only knew the common stories everyone talks about. Scissors in the shape of a cross by the bed, mirrors, things like that. She told me her grandchildren were being drained, that every night something climbed the large pine tree in front of their house and waited for the family to fall asleep. I assumed it was just a myth, another absurd village story about fireballs and folklore. I never even considered the old woman who had visited my shop days earlier. A few months later, I started working for a government office. One night, I was heading home late. At that time, the second bridge on the highway was under construction, so traffic was a mess. It was around 3 in the morning when I took a shortcut through a park called Lagos de los Lirios. I decided to pass through a nearby town called La Perla, just behind the park. As I was driving, I saw the figure of a woman in the distance, an overweight elderly woman wearing a straw hat, carrying what looked like a baby in her arms. At first, I thought she was just a grandmother carrying her grandchild. Then I thought, no, that's not a baby. That's a doll. What kind of elderly woman takes a baby out at 3 in the morning in the cold? When I got home, it hit me. It was the same woman who had come into my shop, drunk days earlier. Still, I brushed it off. A few days later, the woman who believed her grandchildren were being drained, let's call her Mrs. Rossi, came back into my shop. She was distraught. She told me that a neighbor's baby had been kidnapped and later found in an empty lot, cold, lifeless, its abdomen torn open, as if something had sucked the life out through its navel. Even then, I didn't connect it to what I had seen. Months passed. More chilling stories surfaced. Missing children, babies taken in the night. One morning, I found the old woman sitting outside my shop. She looked angry. She just stared at me, then stood up and walked away. That evening, as I was about to close, she came in furious. She said she'd had to go collect her daughters, who had been turned into turkeys in a field of cactus plants. If I had anything to do with it, I would pay. I still thought she was either drunk or insane. How could someone go pick up her daughters in the form of turkeys from an empty field? But that same night, it finally dawned on me. She wasn't talking about market witches who sell candles and herbs. She meant real witches, the kind people whisper about. Months went by, and she didn't return. Eventually, I had to close my shop because my job demanded too much time. One rainy night, taking the same shortcut, I saw her again in the distance. This time, she was accompanied by 2 dogs. In her arms, she carried a little girl, about 3 or 4 years old, crying. My first instinct was to make a U-turn. I was on the opposite side of the road, separated by a median. I wanted to do something, but I also doubted myself. What if I was imagining it? What if I intervened and committed a crime by taking a granddaughter from her grandmother? Instead, I found a police patrol car and told them what I had seen. They came with me to look, but of course, nothing was there. They searched the area and found nothing. Exactly 2 weeks later, my neighbors were talking about a 4-year-old girl found in a cornfield, her abdomen torn open, like something had sucked out her life force. That's when I knew. I told people what I had seen. Everyone thought I was crazy. One night, while asleep, I heard footsteps on my rooftop. Then 4 knocks, like someone knocking on a door. I knocked back 4 times. It answered with 4 more. I climbed up to check. Nothing. I went back to bed with the uneasy feeling of being watched. The nights grew worse. It felt like, while I slept, a cold breath would enter my room and cover my mouth. I'd wake up coughing, exhausted, with a freezing sensation in my throat. I started researching. Books, magazines, movies, anything. I found nothing. Then one sleepless night, buried deep in online pages, I found a prayer that claimed it could make the witch fall from the roof. So you could kill her. But you had to kill her, no matter what she said, no matter what she did. You had to kill her. It was nothing less than the Lord's Prayer said backward 7 times. With each repetition, you had to tie a knot in a red ribbon. Before doing that, you needed to create a circle of salt, so she would fall inside it and have no way out. I only discovered the part about the salt circle days later while researching. It's getting late, and I need to stop my story here, but I hope to continue it soon.